Screening review Kingdom of Heaven. This is an interesting one to consider. I noticed a few things in Kingdom of Heaven that I might not have otherwise when I just accepted it for what it is, a film with some identifiable aspirations and overt potentials, and a work which the sum total of its qualities really makes a larger impact than any really concise, coherent feeling which the film might conjure when viewing it entrapped within a cinema screening. One does notice how Kingdom of Heaven, especially during its earlier unfolding narrative developments, is rather abrupt in moving forward the narrative. Even though we are witnessing a director's cut, I'm now wondering if there was even more footage, more a potentially 4 hour long cut, wherein Kingdom of Heaven was like Lawrence of Arabia, with its focusing upon each player it may encounter, with its smaller set of subplots, a noticeable handful of times earlier in this film's runtime. I'm thinking, oh, so this is happening now. And I feel like in other films there'd be another scene in between certain narrative events, whereas in this picture we have to try and fit so much into a free-ish hour, an even free-ish hour runtime, that the film can feel more contracted and even slightly rushed before it arrives at the Holy Land. I felt as though the action sequences of Kingdom of Heaven are, at least in a purely technical sense, entirely impressive, yet one is never as truly immersively bowled down by them as they would really like to be. The sum total of the experience is quite powerful, although this is a free-ish hour movie and we would want up to ideally even an hour of it, not in a row necessarily, a total hour of that film to be lavish period piece, bloody medieval action, and maybe 25 minutes of it is, if we were to add it all up. This is not to say that Kingdom of Heaven isn't enjoyable when it is characters interacting with one another, that its plot is not very interesting in between the battle sequences, that the production values alone make the film pretty watchable at just about every single minute of the picture, or that it ought to have cut certain sequences in lieu of some action set pieces. But I have to admit, what I'm most excited to imagine and then see when initially considering a film like, and with the creative team behind it, of Kingdom of Heaven, how it was promoted and what it could do in the creative annals of cinema's history, is a display of highly visceral, very felt, and totally mind-blowing action film sorcery. Now, whatever my own hopes, the experience of viewing Kingdom of Heaven at the cinema screening was wholly entertaining. A 3 hour runtime flowed by and felt like less time than it actually was, and in terms of the sheer gallant, dense vision as far as it is a period piece, a very ambitious spectacle, or a conjurer of cinematically grand, genre identified, epic, threshold existentialism is to be concerned, Kingdom of Heaven achieves some sincere cinematic magic. At a few moments in its rather long but greatly enjoyable and not really distractingly noticed, sprawling runtime. This was a highly recommended experience, though in my area in the Sydney city it was only having one night at the one cinema. If it happens to be screening nearby you, go and check it out, whether you're already a fan of it or intrigued to see what the hype may all be about. Maybe all about, but it is a guaranteed memorable experience, and at 3 hours and a very possibly enjoyed 3 hours at that, it is well worth the price of your ticket. Solid value for money here. It may be a film which is more enjoyed by rewatchers in a familiarity in the comfort of one's home, viewing it as a piece of controlled environment ASMR rather than as a comparatively confined, bordered, no rewind spectacle which doesn't exist outside of a certain 3 hour allocated time slot, compared with the more ethereal occupation of memories which comes from a home, say, DVD viewing of it, amongst the comforts of your home, able to pause it, able to view it at entirely one's leisure. It is a piece of entertainment that can be watched at any time and not one which must be siphoned of all possible enjoyment in one cinema showing. Kingdom of Heaven might be best viewed and appreciated as a portable, maneuverable product, a comfort DVD or Blu-ray perhaps better as that can accompany one anywhere and assure a rather enjoyed and invigorating 3 hour period. This is an odd, slightly philosophical distinction to be made with feature film experiences, but it is one which I notice, and most of us don't exclusively watch films in cinemas anymore, take for granted that this might affect our experiences or memories of films, even though we act like it doesn't. The amount of films judged by the initial cinema screening, its impact as a rewatched classic in the potential future, not even considered, versus those introduced to one as just some home entertainment for the evening, is, I assume, rather vast for many mainstream audiences where the former is concerned, and even vaster when considering the latter, where more film enthusiasts are concerned, who would rent, stream, or download the films they want to watch, as they are either not screening frequently nearby them and perceive these films as a more long-term item which they can appreciate possibly forever, versus the cinema experience being more suited to those who want to have the one memory and cherish it forever, free of any hindsight or retrospective critical inquiry. And weirdly enough, Kingdom of Heaven is a film that benefits from the pathos that one can hold a copy of it and watch it at any time, as opposed to one which one would watch once in a cinema and never really intend to get much out of it again. The best film Scott directed in the 21st century, this is what I will claim here, and I don't think that many people will have much dispute with it particularly.